18 photos Ronda Rousey doesn't want you to see. There has been a lot of talk in the sports world that there is a women's revolution going on. The U.S. women's soccer team took the World Cup by storm and got North America excited about women's soccer in a way they arguably have never been in the past. Serena Williams has been kicking butt and taking names in the tennis world which have led her to become one of the best known and most followed sports stars in the world. In the WWE, a company that presents their product as sports entertainment, the way they use their female wrestlers has undergone a tectonic shift, which has resulted in them being taken far more serious than in a very long time. Then there is Ronda Rousey, arguably the biggest female athlete in the world at one time. She not only became the biggest female MMA star but was probably better known than any of the men, too. Going undefeated in her first 12 bouts, she typically took out her opponent in the first round, which made her matches phenomenal to watch. Hugely popular as a result, people wanted to see more of her, which resulted in her photo being taken endlessly even when she didn't want it to be. That concept inspired this list of 15 photos she'd rather you not see. In order for a photo to be considered for inclusion, the requirements were pretty simple. Ronda needed to be featured in the photo, whether alone or in a group it didn't matter, and it needed to seem like she wouldn't want us to see it. Obviously, we weren't able to actually ask her how she felt about the photos in question, so we can't say our choices are 100% disliked by her, but there are clear reasons she'd rather these photos be forgotten. 18. Bent over awkwardly. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but it seems to be largely agreed upon that Ronda Rousey is a sexy lady. Someone whose body is her profession, Ronda depends on her physical prowess in order to dominate women in the octagon. That means that in order to stay competitive she must remain extremely fit. Also, somebody who oozes confidence in nearly every situation, that fact alone makes her an attractive woman in our books. That said, those shorts look like mom jeans that have been tapered off and do little to make her look like the hottie she is. Additionally, we're guessing there aren't too many people who'd be pleased to have their photo taken while they are bent over and unsuspecting. We know we'd be infuriated if we went online and there was a random photo of us in a position like this and people were gawking at it. 17. About to kiss. You can totally read it all over Ronda's face in this photo. She is truly happy to be with the person she loves at this moment in her life. While many of us feel like shouting it from the rooftops when we experience that kind of joy, few of us do for good reason. Nobody but us cares and we'd prefer to be seen as rational adults. After all, it took Tom Cruise years to recover from jumping on that couch one fateful day on Oprah, and he isn't even in the fight game. While things could get more invasive than the fact that a paparazzi took this photo of her, more on an intimate moment in her life later, we're guessing that person is lucky neither of these two saw them. Otherwise, they may have been sore the next day and Ronda could have stopped this photo from existing instead of wishing we'd all ignore it as she probably does now. 16. Tongue out. Anyone who has watched almost any of Ronda Rousey's fights will be able to tell you that she definitely takes great pleasure in her victories. Known to truly revel in the moment when she dispatches her foes, we typically get to see her making faces that bring to mind those that belong on the face of someone about to go to war or coming straight out of it. After this judo match, however, she seems to have decided to go another way. Years prior to becoming a person with all eyes on her at this point, perhaps she didn't put as much thought into how she was perceived at the time. Either way, we're guessing that someone as competitive as she is would prefer not to look like she is relieved to have won as she does here. 15. Sports Illustrated backside. Ronda seemingly takes pleasure in the cult of personality she has created for herself. How else could you explain the fact that she has taken part in several photo shoots knowing full well that many of her devoted fans will love every inch of flesh she unveils? That doesn't give the world the right to see those shots from all angles, especially when that means revealing a large portion of some of her privates, or in this case the entire thing. Posing in body paint, it is reasonable to think that she presumed she would be photographed at angles that would hide some of her humility. In this photo, however, someone got a shot they weren't supposed to that features her rear pretty much naked and from a straight-on perspective. 14. Awful blow to the face. Ronda Rousey is an absolute bada asterisk S who has proven time and time again that she is incredibly adept at dispatching her foes. Then there was that one time where she had her butt handed to her by Holly Holm. While there are a lot of images of this fateful night that Ronda is likely to want the world to put behind us, and we will be touching on some of those later, This second in her life has to be among them. Receiving a savage kick to her chin, it seems very likely that she never expected to find herself in this situation and wishes with all of her heart that she could forget that she did forever. 13. Closeknit. Dana White has been a pivotal figure in the world of MMA for many years now, and as such, a lot of attention is paid to his words and actions. Someone who was staunchly against women fighting in the UFC for a long time, it took someone as impressive as Ronda to make him change his tune. Considering Dana has previously referred to Ronda as the first female UFC fighter in the past, it has been clear for a long time that he holds a lot of respect for her. Furthermore, his statements in the past have made it seem like the pair get along well, but we're guessing neither want people to focus on this photo of them. Taken mid-press conference, the gigantic smiles on their faces and how close they are to one another could lead some to conclude that there might be more than a business relationship between them. 12. Revenge of the Nerds. Much of the world seems to have undergone a metamorphosis in the last couple of decades. In the days of yore, looking like a nerd or geek wasn't the badge of pride it seems to be today, and in a lot of cases, it was liable to get you beat up. Sure, there is no question that arguably the best women's fighter of all time, Ronda Rousey, is not afraid of a fight, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't like to look good. While we're sure that she looked at this outfit and glasses when she went to leave the house and concluded that she looked good, this exact moment in time is not doing her any favors. Had her shirt not been falling halfway off her shoulder, and had the look on her face been less quizzical, it all might have come together to look great. Unfortunately, that is not the case here. 11. So much fabric covering her body. We're just going to say it, there is a whole lot of fabric on that body. Coming together to make Ronda look like an amorphous blob, this outfit makes it look like her body is the furthest thing possible from defined. It almost looks like she just found a bunch of cloth and decided to fashion an outfit for herself out of it and some string. Reminding us a little bit of the moo-moo Homer wore when he decided to gain a bunch of weight in a classic episode of The Simpsons. We certainly hope this isn't a harbinger of a new trend that looks about as good as wearing a garbage bag. At least she has a happy look on her face this time around. 10. High school photo. Oh, high school, the years in our life where we try out different looks for the first time and try to find the style that will define our image for the rest of our lives. While some people feel the need to attempt more extreme and ultimately embarrassing styles than others, that doesn't mean anyone takes pride in their look during those years. While this photo of Ronda while she attended Santa Monica High is better than some of the photos that lurk in the yearbook we've seen, we'd be surprised if she loved people looking at it. After all, even when she comes to the ring ready to fight, her hair never looks that slicked back, and when she gets dressed up she seems to enjoy looking glamorous. On top of that, the girl in that photo doesn't seem nearly as fearsome as the woman the world has come to know and love. 9. Crying about the struggles of losing. Speaking of beating people up, the one thing you never really want to do if you desire to be seen as tough is crying. Don't get us wrong, there is no shame in shedding a tear, and we fully expect any professional athlete to take their defeats hard. However, in most cases, they keep their moments of weakness to themselves and a pocket of close confidence. While appearing on Ellen DeGeneres' daytime talk show, she spoke in depth about struggling after her fight against Holly Holm. Revealing that she felt like she was worthless if she couldn't win her fights, she expressed that she contemplated suicide for a brief moment before finding something else to care about. While we fully applaud her for being so fearless in exposing herself in such a forthright manner, there is little doubt that the moment goes against the image she had cultivated for years. Additionally, the fight game is brutal, and we wouldn't be shocked if it was used as ammunition against her in later bouts. 8. Intimate moment with boyfriend. It is just a fact of the media age we live in that there is an entire industry built around invading the privacy of those that live a public life. While it is pretty much agreed upon by most that there is something distasteful about that, the reason there are still paparazzi lining the streets when celebrities go out in public is people want to see the photos. The subjects of the photos probably often feel the opposite way about the people who follow them, unless they are so wrapped up in their celebrity they are fueled by the attention. From what we can tell, Ronda is not someone who lives to be watched, so it seems likely she doesn't want to be photographed while in an intimate embrace. With her boyfriend, fellow MMA fighter Travis Browne, it is obvious that they are sharing a tender moment that they likely couldn't have known would be seen by many random onlookers. I'm sure they especially dislike the attention, considering their relationship already got headlines with the fact that he was married when they got together. 7. Tonight Show Photoshop mishap. Sometimes you just have to wonder to yourself, what is wrong with people? A media darling, Ronda proved that the world is just as excited to see a woman kick some serious butt as any man, and she looked great doing it. Appearing pretty much anywhere celebrities are interviewed, she would make appearances on a bevy of different late-night shows, including The Tonight Show, which led to the side-by-side photos' existence. Actually shared by the fighter, she chose to bring attention to her disgust at the fact that someone felt the need to Photoshop her arms when releasing a photo to advertise her appearance. A beautiful woman whose arms look larger because she has turned herself into a lean mean fighting machine. Whoever decided to do that to her arms should give themselves a shake. Still, you may be wondering to yourself, if she shared this image, why do we think that she doesn't want people to see it? That's simple. We believe she shared it to make a statement about how wrong it was that this ever happened, and as such she probably wishes there was no photo for anyone to see. 6. Partying with friends. There has always been something about Ronda that has made us feel like she is probably fun to be around. While she likely is single-minded while in a training camp, otherwise her success would be even more unfathomable, she always struck us as someone who likes to unleash the stress the rest of the time. That is why it came as very little surprise to us when we found out that a series of photos of her looking like she is having a fun night with a group of her friends surfaced. Yet, there is something about this image that sucks. The very fact that we are looking at it means one of two things transpired. One of her pals sold her out by making a few bucks for the photo, or someone scoured the internet looking for photos like this. Neither option is something we'd like to have directed at us, so we doubt she would either. 5. Bloody lip. The first photo that you'll find on this list that originates from the night that Ronda lost a fight for the first time in her MMA career. There is a lot going on here that Ronda would like to forget. The bloody lip that stands out so violently is an obvious piece of evidence that she had finally found someone that was not only her match, but her better, on that night. However, while that may be the first aspect of this photo that leaps out at you, there is something else going on here that speaks much louder to us. The look on her face utterly screams the defeat that she seems to have been feeling in her heart at that time. Considering the fact that we already touched on how despondent she was after the fight, we're guessing she will never want to go back to this moment. 4. Huffing and puffing. Followers of Ronda Rousey's career will know that before she began to compete in MMA she was focused on the judo discipline of fighting. Talented enough that she would appear in international events, including the 2008 Olympic Games in Beijing. There are obviously many photos of this era of her life as a result. One such example, this specific photo, is anything but complimentary. Looking as though she is letting out a breath, and with it any tension or anxiety fighting caused her to feel, we totally get what purpose she is likely trying to achieve. That doesn't make the fact that she looks ridiculous in that specific moment, that likely lasted mere seconds, any less true. 3. Bad hair day. Who among us looks their best when they are about to head out on a trip? How many of us spend a lot of time making sure our looks are on point before going out and getting into a car if we know we aren't going anywhere special? How many of us have a legion of photographers looking to get any kind of photo of us that is notable in any way? Looking like she is dressed in her most comfortable clothes, we wouldn't be at all surprised if Ronda was on her way to an airport when someone got this photo of her looking disheveled. Either that, or she wanted the world to know that she is a Daniel Bryan fan and who has time to get their hair done every time they venture out of their home. 2. Covered face. A photo that was taken shortly after Ronda lost her bantamweight championship to Holly Holm at UFC 193, Ronda couldn't help but draw attention while walking through an airport. Clearly humiliated by the events she hadn't expected to come to pass, she can be seen using what appears to be a pillow to conceal her face from the legions of cameras. While we will never know if her embarrassment was simply due to the loss she suffered or if her face had become puffy or bruised in some manner, one thing is clear. She didn't want anyone to see what she was hiding, and if that is the case, how mortified must she feel that photos of her covering her face exist? 1. Sports Illustrated Spies. Remember when we wrote about the fact that Ronda became a megastar as a result of her incredible series of fights? One of the best pieces of evidence that points to how omnipresent she was at a time is the fact that she was included in the 2016 issue of Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. Appearing in a series of bikinis and various kinds of swimwear, she also was courageous enough to wear nothing but body paint. While the photos that they did release left little to the imagination, the magazine was careful to only publish photos from particular angles that revealed strategic parts of her body. Of course, this is the modern world and the internet wanted to see angles that revealed her nether regions, and thanks to some well-placed paparazzi their wishes were eventually granted. An extraordinary invasion of her privacy. She has every right to be disgusted, which is why we are censoring the sensitive aspects of the photo.